What is up, guys? Archon, and I'm here bringing you guys another YouTube video. This video is recorded after the fact. This won't be live reactions. This will be my thoughts on the showcase as a whole. I'm going to probably go over the price and the release date first, and then I'll get into the top 5 games from the event that I'm most looking forward to for the PS5. So with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and get into it, and let's talk about the price and the release date. So as you guys can see, the disc drive version is going to be more pricey at $499, almost $500, and the digital version will be $399, $400. So if you want to go a little bit cost efficient, you can go digital. If you're not worried about having the physical copies in your hand, I definitely would recommend going the digital version. Also, if you're not going to watch 4K Blu-ray movies, again, go the digital route, save yourself some money. That's probably what I'm going to do. I don't really care too much about having physical copies anymore. The market's getting away from that. Probably by next generation, it's going to be something of the past. Everything's going to be digital, would be my guess. It was nice for Sony to try to, throw a bone to everybody who still likes the physical copies. And you also have to think about like what state the world's in right now with the pandemic going on. People have lost jobs and they're getting by on unemployment. Some of those people may be finding work again for the first time in a couple of months. Not only that, but stores aren't stocking games, so you can't really go to your local, Walmart or something and go get games because right now nobody's stocking them. Everybody's focused more on groceries to help people get by. I think one of our local stores actually has just stopped carrying games altogether and are more focused, like I said, on just groceries and that. So you have to kind of think of the state of the world too. If you're going to go buy the $600 or the $500 model, are you going to actually be able to get your hands on the physical copies as they come out, or are you going to have to go through Amazon in order to get all your games, which, may come with a delay as well through COVID. Let me know what you guys think down below about the whole situation. What model are you guys going to get? Are you guys going to get the disc drive model, or are you going to go digital and save yourself the extra $100? Like I said, I'm going digital myself. So let me know down below what you guys think about that. As for the release date of the PS5, it is coming out in most major countries on November 12th. But for everybody else, it will be available on November 19th. So we're going to have like a week difference between release dates for most of the global market. It's kind of interesting they're going that route. I would think by now that the whole, simultaneous release would be the new thing that everybody's doing instead of, making people wait a week. I doubt people are going to import PS5s just to play them early. There's no point in doing that. Save yourself the money. Just wait the week. The shipping on it would probably be ridiculous anyway, depending on where you're getting it from. So let's go ahead and move on and talk about the 5 games that I'm most excited for that were showcased at the event. So let's go for number 5 here. We'll do it from 5 to 1. Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village. They showcased a bit more from what we've seen earlier on in the last trailer. We actually got to see the scene where Chris is detaining Ethan, and apparently these guys come in and they try to take Ethan away. Still don't know the status on Mia, of course, because in the original trailer that was showcased, we seen Mia get shot and Ethan's like freaking out, trying to figure out why Chris is doing what he's doing to him. So it'll be interesting to see why Ethan ends up getting taken to the village. And then from there, the trailer just basically goes into what we already know about the little girl and the berries. That keeps coming up. I'm sure that's going to be some type of plot relevant once you start playing the game. I don't think they're telling us the full tale either, because it seems like it cuts off, because as far as I can tell, like every time it gets to the little girl who breaks away from her mother and runs deeper and deeper into the forest, it just stops. Mia stops telling the tale, and then she says it's just a folklore, So it's kind of interesting that that's going to play such a big part in the tale. They wouldn't show it more than once if it wasn't going to be somehow plot relevant. So I think you can already start figuring out some of what's going on in the game just from the trailers that they're giving us. The zombies do look a little bit different than they do in the past. These ones, like their eyes were glowing blue. Like every time you'd see a zombie, they were glowing blue. It looked really weird. They didn't look like the typical BOWs that you'd see in a Resident Evil game. Like not even on the same level as Las Plagas, which was in 5 and 4. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out and what role Ethan has in it, and why Chris is doing what he's doing to Ethan and why he potentially killed Mia. Kind of curious about that one. Like, is Chris the new villain now? Is he taking the mantle where Wesker, left off? Did he find something in research maybe that is leading him to do what he's doing? Also, what is the village? Why is it so important? Why was it not brought up? Is it another one of Spencer's mansions, maybe? because I know there was a couple mansion duplicates located throughout the world that you would traverse in some games. Like Code Veronica had I believe a Spencer's mansion hidden somewhere in Antarctica, maybe. Is that where that mansion was? Or maybe it was even hidden on Rockford Island, I think is where they were. So it'll be interesting to see, for sure. I'm pretty excited for it. I can't wait to get my hands on it. So on to number 4 now. Number 4 is going to be Spider-Man Miles Morales. If not for just the combat itself. The combat blew me away today, not gonna lie. I'm a big fan of games where you can make your own combos and you can just do whatever you want and every combo feels unique. Devil May Cry is a prime example of this, where you can go with, let's say you're playing Dante, you can use Rebellion, go into some of the other weapons that you get throughout the game, then use your pistols, Ebony and Ivory, and then go back into whatever you want and just combo everything down, and all the combos feel unique. Spider-Man Miles Morales has that feeling to it from what I could see in the trailer. There was also the transition between the combat to the story, which I thought was pretty cool, where you're fighting the villains and then it does like a scene transition, and it feels pretty smooth. It doesn't seem jarring that you're transitioning, the camera pans away from Miles to whatever's going on in the story, and then it pans back to Miles and you're fighting the enemies still. I think that's pretty cool. And then you go from there to actual in-game QuickTime events, and it just looks so fluid. And I will say, graphically, the game kind of blew me away as well, because before the trailer even started, they showed Final Fantasy 16 on a PC basically being emulated with PS5. So they already have a PS5 emulator. And 16 looked absolutely amazing. And with knowing that Miles Morales was played exclusively on the PS5 hardware, and it didn't look too different from 16, it did look a little bit less than what you've seen in the 16 trailer, which is fine. But it still kept up graphically pretty well. So I'm pretty hyped for Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's going to be pretty much a launch title. It's going to be holiday. So somewhere within there, within the month or two after it launches. Anyway, on to number 3. So number 3 is going to be a bit of a cheat here. It is going to be Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. It will be coming to the PS5 at launch. I am pretty pumped for that. I didn't get a chance to play Devil May Cry 5 when it originally came out on the PS4. I was kind of hanging around waiting to see if they were going to do a special edition, because they've always done special editions for Devil May Cry. It's just something that they just consistently do. I think 3 got one, 4 got one, and now 5 is getting one. And 5's looks pretty interesting. It's going to be kind of similar, I guess, to what 3's was, where you could just play as Virgil throughout the game, would be my guess. Instead of playing Dante, you just play Virgil or something throughout. And it looked like you could actually transform into V from Virgil, which was kind of interesting. And he also had the ability to separate himself from his Devil Trigger form. So it'll be pretty cool to try out and get my hands on Devil May Cry 5 with all the extra features. I kind of hate when game developers do this. They release like a definitive edition like months later after you already buy it. But at the same time, if you know it's coming and you wait, it's not the worst thing in the world, because you get to play all that extra content. So pretty pumped for Devil May Cry 5. It's going to be a launch title. That'll probably be one of the games I try to get my hands on right away. So anyway, on to number 2. So we cheated on number 3. We're going to cheat even further beyond on number 2 here. And I'm going to have to go with the PlayStation Plus collection. So not too sure how this is going to work yet, but from what I can tell, they've baked into PlayStation Plus a PlayStation Now variant that's going to let you play PlayStation 4 games on your PS5 as long as you have PlayStation Plus. It's not PlayStation Now. It looks like it's its own separate thing. And they showcased a bunch of games. They had God of War there, Persona 5, Mortal Kombat 11 was there. Not sure, I'm trying to remember like what other games, like it was all just a quick flash. The Uncharted games were there. So there's going to be a lot of AAA titles throughout the year that you may not have been able to purchase because you didn't have the money for, that you can probably play now on the PS4 if you're looking forward to. Me personally, I'm hoping that Persona 5 version is actually the Royal Edition. I have my doubts on that one, but I'm really hoping it is, because if it is, then that means that I can play Persona 5 Royal, obviously. As you guys know, I've played through Persona 5 once. I had a second playthrough going, and then I heard Royal was out, and I was like, man, I don't really want to play through Persona 5 a second time with Royal coming out. I'd rather wait and see if I can get my hands on Royal. I was hoping for some type of discount for already owning Persona 5 and just having it be like a download pack, and that wasn't the case, unfortunately. I don't think they really did anything for anybody who already owns Persona 5. That did suck. So here's hoping that it's Persona 5 Royal Edition that we're getting on the PS5. And all this will be available at launch, by the way. So My concerns in the past videos about not having enough games to play and it being barren like the PS4's launch was, where you only had Contrast, Resogun, Call of Duty Ghosts, and a couple sports games and, you know, Knack to play, those are gone. My worries are gone. We're going to have PS4 Classics to play that as long as you own a PS Plus membership, you're going to have access to them. We're going to have Devil May Cry 5 at launch. I can't even think of all the games that are coming out at launch. There's quite a few of them, and if not, they're coming out within the holiday season, like SpiderMan Miles Morales is going to be here at the holiday season. So either Thanksgiving or Christmas time. So you're not going to have to wait that long for that game. So there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be there to hold you over. I think all the BRs are coming over, Apex and Fortnite. Fortnite was announced as well for all you people who are still playing Fortnite and are excited for that. Anyway, let's move on to number one here. And you guys probably aren't going to be shocked if you know what games I like to play. I also mentioned this game earlier on in the video. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So before we go into that, I want to do a quick plug. I will be checking out Call of Duty Cold War. The alpha is free this weekend on PlayStation. So if you guys are curious about the alpha and you don't have a PlayStation, come hang out with me. I'll put a link to my Twitch in the description. Hit that follow button. For those who don't want to check the description, I'll just tell you what it is now. Twitch.tv/archon__Toonami. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the number one game of the showcase, in my opinion. I mentioned it earlier on when I was talking about Spider-Man, and that is Final Fantasy 16. I think graphically the game is just in a whole nother level compared to what we've seen so far for PS5 games. Square always blows everybody away. They just never fail in that aspect. I think they're probably the best in the business when it comes to cutscenes. As for the game itself, it looked really cool seeing, you know, Titan face off against Shiva, and then it also looked really cool seeing Phoenix stare down Ifrit. Summons are actually going to combat each other for the first time in like forever. I think Final Fantasy IX is the last Final Fantasy I can remember where summons actually fought each other, and that was like Bahamut versus Alexander. So it's cool to see them actually be part of the story and not just be high amounts of damage that help you get you through an encounter, kind of like they are in 7, or 7 Remake rather. As for the story, it seemed like it was taking a lot of odes from, you know, Type 0, in that, you know, warring nations are fighting over their crystals and they're trying to invade each other. At least this time the story is different from Type 0 in that they're facing off against a blight that's apparently probably creating monsters, would be my guess, and, you know, infecting people and killing them. So at least there's a reasonable reason for needing the crystals. As for the combat system, it looked a lot like 15, and I'm hoping that is not the case. The one knock against 15 that I had is the combat system just to me felt bland. I'm hoping for more of a mix between what we got with 7 Remake. I'm just hoping, just give us 7 Remake's combat system in 16, and that'll be fine. Just do not give us Final Fantasy 15's combat system. It looked like you were warping around, teleporting a little bit, so that is mildly concerning, in my opinion. I just really wish Square would eventually go back to their roots with the turn-based system. At least give us a Final Fantasy of old that has that turn-based feel to it. I think Persona 5 proved that JRPGs that are turn-based are not dead when it won Game of the Year a couple years ago. So, anyway, all in all, I think Final Fantasy 16 is my MVP of the showcase. It's the game I'm most looking forward to that was showcased. They didn't show Crash, they didn't show Persona 6. I do know that I have heard that that is in development, so I was hoping to maybe see something. I know it's real early, but I was hoping to maybe catch a glimpse of that game. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. What's your top 5? I gave you my top 5. Also, what is, like I said, your thoughts on the whole digital versus disc drive version? Are you going to go digital because of what's going on in the world right now? Are you going to go disc-based anyway just because you love having those physical copies in your hand? Let me know down below. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I will see everybody back here for the next video.